Well, so lesson 22, Course in Miracles, and what I see is a form of vengeance. That's going to sound pretty outrageous, but if you're following along with these lessons, you'll probably be quite familiar with the notion that a lot of these lessons seem to be quite outrageous in their claims, but as you go along in the reading the lesson and realizing the reasonable perspective that they're premised on, outrageous seems to become something that's like it's like, oh my God. I don't know how the coming to terms, that's what it is. It's the coming to terms with these lessons that I like. It's like there are these moments where you realize that an enlightened mind, or an ascended mind, the ascended mind of our millennia, 2,000 years ago, has channeled this book. And the thing that I find incredible is that apart from that, it's like, it's hard to believe until you experience it. But the thing that I find incredible is that when you read this, it's so opposite to the way that you think as, let's say, a human being. I don't even know, how would you call it? As a unawakened mind, or as someone who has no clue. And I remember when I picked this up for the first time and read it, I could hear what it was saying, but it just didn't click. It didn't go in. It sounded reasonable. It sounded awesome. It sounded sometimes quite often hard to believe, but I knew there was something in it, and I had to pursue it, and the experiences that I've had along the way have helped immeasurably to lock into place all the things, such as the title of this lesson, what I see is a form of vengeance. So, because I wouldn't imagine that the things that I see around me are actually a form of vengeance, But anyway, here we go. Let's have a look at it. Today's idea accurately describes the way anyone who holds attack thoughts, in his mind must see the world. That sounds fair enough. Having projected his anger onto the world, he sees vengeance about to strike at him. Right, now that's pretty easy to, pretty easy to comprehend. Having projected my attack thoughts out onto the world, I see, attack about to strike at me. It's like what you put out, you get back. We're just not aware of what we're putting out because we don't watch our thoughts, we don't watch our minds, we don't pay any attention to the kinds of projections that we're making. And when they're brought to our attention, we're just like, which is what this is doing. It's incredible. Okay, vengeance about to strike at him. His own attack is thus perceived as self-defense. This becomes an increasingly vicious circle until he is willing to change how he sees. Otherwise, thoughts of attack and counter-attack will preoccupy him and people his entire world. What peace of mind is possible to him then? It is from this savage fantasy that you want to escape. It is not joyous news to hear. Is it not joyous news to hear that it is not real? I make up my fears. I make up my anger. I make up my own projections. Right? Is it not a happy discovery to find that you can escape? You made what you would destroy, everything that you hate and would attack and kill. All that you fear does not exist. Look at the world about you at least 5 times today for at least a minute each time. As your eyes move slowly from one object to another, from one body to another, say to yourself, I see only the perishable. I see nothing that will last. What I see is not real. What I see is a form of vengeance. At the end of each practice period, ask yourself, is this the world I really want to see? The answer is surely obvious. You know, and there's a little twist in there. It's like, having projected his anger onto the world, he sees vengeance about to strike at him. That sounds quite reasonable. I'm getting back the results of my thinking, but then in the application of the lesson, I see only the perishable. I see nothing that will last. What I see is not real. What I see is a form of vengeance. Right? As you look from one person to another, or one object to another. So it's going from the idea of emotion to form, you know, in that the suggestion that my emotions are populating my world with forms that reflect back my thinking. It's quite incredible. So, but not to dwell on it. I mean, just simply do the practice period today. You know, so 5 times today. So, what I see is a form of vengeance. Woo! And then tomorrow, lesson 23 is, for me, a key lesson. I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts. Yeah, and that's an application one as well. So, beautiful. All right, well, that's it. Simple one tonight. See ya.